At Stirling Castle in Scotland, a mysterious structure emerges from the valley below. It's called the King's Knot. Legend says that one of history's greatest treasures once stood right here. The Round Table of King Arthur and his knights. Is it possible that Stirling was founded hundreds of years earlier, at the dawn of the Middle Ages? Under the grass and soil of the King's Knot, investigations have detected a series of mysterious ditches. They could belong to an ancient ritual site that used to have a ring of standing stones at its center. But the knot also stands next door to what was once a jousting ground. Arthur and his knights were connected with jousting. So is this a coincidence or a clue to the origins of the Round Table story?
Hiya, Rob. How are you getting on?
Hi. Pretty well.
Murray Cook is Stirling Council's chief archaeologist. His team tries to unravel this tangled landscape and the secrets hidden underground. Today, Murray investigates the modern footpath that separates the King's Knot from the castle. Underneath, he's discovered what appears to be a much older road connecting the two sites.
So we have the road here running along and then actually turning and going up the slope.
Exposed it all. Got the turn of the road. Looks like it's swinging up the hill there.
No, that's very good.
So how old is this track? Could it be medieval or even Arthurian? It's hard to tell because so little of it remains. Murray takes a closer look.
This stone here and these surfaces behind me are very, very smooth. It's smooth because of the passage of feet, because of the passage of hoofs, because of the passage of traffic over hundreds of years.
Centuries of wind and rain have left their mark. But Murray thinks this path matches the description of a 16th century road that once linked the castle to a jousting ground.
1531, a road is constructed by order of the crown. It's to facilitate jousting.
Although jousting is associated with Arthur, Murray is convinced popular history has it wrong. Arthur would have been born too early to joust.
This is the classic European medieval jousting. You've got people in shining armour, there'll be fights, there'll be rivalry, all of which gets expressed on the field. Who will win, who will lose, blood's shed, you know, fair maidens swooning, all that sort of romantic stuff happened here.
Murray also suspects the King's Knot is just a garden from around the same time. But the jousting that went on next to it might explain the Arthur stories. The king who built the jousting ground was called James IV, one of Scotland's greatest rulers. James adored tournaments and the tales of King Arthur.
James IV, he reorganises this landscape. He sets up the majesty, the pageantry of Stirling, the pageantry of the jousting ground, but it's his son who develops the very, very elaborate tournaments. He develops this King Arthur theme.
Murray thinks that this is a royal playground. Scottish kings held Arthurian-themed tournaments right here, called round tables.
Behind me is the King's Knot. It's actually built on a much older royal garden. And this is the garden that appears to be linked to the Round Table to King Arthur. So what we have is a very elaborate theatrical landscape.